Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Christoph, I'm a Belgian singer, actor, and I'm also studying music theater. And today I want to have a little talk. If all goes well, I will graduate as a Master of Music in June. And as a part of my curriculum, I did an artistic research about vocal registration in the male singing voice. So today I want to talk about vocal registers. I will also use Dimash Kudaiberge as an example because he's he really uses all vocal registers that are possible in the male singing voice. So in the second part of this video, I will give you guys an explanation about how Dimash uses vocal registration to sing the hardest vocal stuff in the whole male singing universe. A vocal register is actually just like a certain way of vocal cord coordination. For example, which parts of the vocal cords are actually vibrating and at which frequency, for example. At the bottom of our vocal range, we have the vocal fry. La la la. La la la. Now the vocal fry is produced by a very loose coordination of the vocal cords. In this coordination the vocal cords are vibrating very slowly. And that creates a very low pitched sound. Now singers don't really use the vocal fry as itself, but more to use it as an effect, for example as an onset or an offset, like at the beginning of a melodic phrase. Even when you're like more of a higher voice type, you're able to use vocal fry to sing quite low notes. Above the vocal fry we have the model voice. Now the model voice is the most commonly used vocal register that there is, as well in singing as in speaking language. The model voice has 3 vocal registers. We have chest voice, la 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 la. We have the mixed voice, and that's a little bit more complicated, since there are actually 2 ways of singing mixed voice. You can use a chest dominant mix, la 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 la. There's more chest voice than there is head voice, and the thyroarytenoid muscle is really doing the work. In vocal pedagogy this is also called TA dominant. And we have the head dominant mix. La 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 la. Then there is more head voice than there is chest voice. The cricothyroid muscle is doing the work here. In other words, CT dominant. And then we have the head voice. La 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 la. Now between all these registers there is a register break or passaggio, and it's a task of the singer in training to be able to switch from one register to another without an audible break. Okay, that's the model voice. Then there's something that's called falsetto. Now this is very complicated because in the world of vocal pedagogy there's a lot of discussion about falsetto. In my opinion, falsetto is more of an effect than that it's actually a register. Singing in falsetto is just using the mere edges of your vocal cords, but they're not connected. They're not touching each other. That means falsetto is a disconnected vocal mechanism. Ooh, ooh. There's a lot of air going through if I only use the edges of my vocal cords, which produces a very breathy sound. But actually I can do that also on a very low pitch. If I'm whispering, this is actually also falsetto. Falsetto is not really a register above or beneath anything, it's just a way of using your vocal cords to create an effect, a very breathy effect. So in my opinion, falsetto is not really a register, it's more an effect. But like I said, there's a lot of discussion about that, and I'm also not going to pretend that I have the absolute truth in my pocket. There are some vocal coaches who will call the thing that I call head voice, for example, la 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 la. They would call that reinforced falsetto or rock falsetto. I disagree with that because if I sing like that, my vocal cords are connected. They are doing a registration, which means it actually has nothing to do with falsetto, which is only the edges of your vocal cords. That's my opinion. Okay, now above the head voice we have an extension that's called flageolet. Flageolet is the squeaky part of our vocal range, and it's actually the highest phonating registration that there is. Classically trained female singers will use flageolet, add some head voice to it, to create a very big range from top to bottom in their head voice. For example, la. If I want to go higher than that in my head voice, I can use force. La. Okay, there's a lot of noise, it's possible, but if you do that, there will be a point that you can't go higher. And also if you go higher on force, it's not that very healthy. Now I will add some flageolet to it. If I add some flageolet elements to my head voice, I can thin out and stretch out my vocal cords more to sing at very high pitches in a healthy way. Now, like I said, flageolet is the highest phonating register that there is. This is really the ultimate cricothyroid or CT dominant registration. And then last but not least, we have the whistle register. Now, whistle register is actually like falsetto disconnected. Like when you're whistling. Think of the mouth shape when you're whistling. That's actually the shape of your vocal cords in whistle register. So basically you're whistling with your vocal cords. Again, like falsetto, the whistle register, in my opinion, is more of a party trick, more of an effect than it's really a registration. It's not very beneficial for the rest of your voice, but you can use it as an effect. It can sound cool. We all know Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande, who are very good at whistling. And yeah, it can sound cool in certain situations. But in common vocal pedagogy, the whistle register is actually not that relevant. So there you are, the vocal registers in the human voice. Apart from vocal registration, there's also something like larynx position. Basically, there are like 3 larynx positions. For example, I can sing in my chest voice with a neutral larynx. La 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 la. But I can also lower my larynx. La 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 la. I'm covering the sound, I'm lowering my larynx to create a more operatic sound. The larynx position is more down. I can also raise my larynx. La 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 la. For example, to belt out some notes in my chest dominant mix. I can also lower my larynx in my head voice, for example. To imitate the sound of a female singer, or basically what a countertenor does. I can also raise my larynx in my head dominant mix. Yeah! To create a sort of a belt sound at very high pitches. So that's the theory. Let's take a look at Dimash, who's using all these vocal registrations and all these larynx positions to sing like extremely low and extremely high. Now, how to sing like Dimash? Well, to sing like Dimash, you really need control over all your vocal registers and all your larynx positions. Dimash uses vocal fry.
Если б знала ты, что мне нужна, только ты одна.
He uses the vocal fry as an onset, for example. He's also able to sing in his chest voice with a neutral larynx. But also in a more operatic way by lowering his larynx. He's able to belt out and to sing some strong, powerful notes in his chest dominant mix. And he's even able to belt out in his head dominant mix. In these 2 examples, Dimash uses a higher larynx position. But he's also able to cover the sound in his head dominant mix by lowering his larynx to sound like a tenor. He can sing in his head voice with a covered sound, a lower larynx, like a female classically trained opera singer. That's like singing in The Mask. And he's able to mix flageolet elements with his head voice to sing at outstanding high pitches. So basically, this man is a master in vocal registration and in larynx manipulation. It needs a lot of training to even get close to the level of singing that Dimash is capable of. And also you have to realize that, yeah, this guy has a God-given talent. Of course, he trained hard, he studied hard, but he's also kind of a freak of nature in the good way. The vocal flexibility and the vocal control on this dude is like next level. You have to realize that. But I'm also convinced that with a lot of dedication, a lot of studying, a lot of training, you will be able to do certain things that Dimash is capable of. But the most important thing is that you embrace your own voice with its advantages, but also with its boundaries. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, every voice is unique. Okay guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you got some questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. I want to thank you all for watching this video and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!